Midday with Joe.
All right, 15 minutes before 12 o'clock, it's time for Midday with Joe. Today's a very special episode of Midday with Joe because he's not on the air. That better. The microphone's not turned on. There you go.
Are you alive? Oh, it's alive.
If you break that thing, you
gotta talk to the boss.
You have to fix it.
If I break it, I gotta fix it.
So today we're going to talk to you about your career. You're coming up on your 50th anniversary.
Am I really?
In this business? Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Until we want to talk to you about
You're making me feel older than I am. And I'm old. I mean, I taught dirt how to be old. You heard of strong coffee, forget about it.
So the first thing I want to ask you is not about the beginning and not about any like high achievements, but I just want to ask you one thing. And then we'll get to the other questions.
Oh, I'm going to ask you one thing before all the other questions.
How yes. Explain to me what it was like for you to transition from all of the analog education you had regarding radio over to the digital stuff we have now. Was it a learning curve?
Oh, heck yeah. It was a long learning curve. It was self-taught. A lot of it was years ago. I bought what's called oh my goodness, Digi, I think it was called DGGI, and it was computer, one of the first computer programs to do voiceovers and what have you. And I built the studio in my home, and I bought this, and the computer I owned was nowhere near the capability of supporting the new software and the new this and that for it.
Oh wow!
So I went to Dell, and over the telephone, I said, I need this, and this, a minimum to run this program. Long story short, that computer, $2,300 way back when. But that computer was good and was ahead of the curve for 5 years, almost 4 to 5 years. So as these other computers, the consumer bought computers were coming up, we got new this and new. I already had all that. All the new stuff, quote unquote, I had already on my computer. And by the time everybody caught up with me, I owned that computer for about 4 to 5 years already.
So you divorced yourself from tape and all the other analog ways of doing radio.
Yeah.
Before
most of
us. Yeah.
Most of it, yeah. Wow. I was self-taught. Most of it was self-taught way back when. And you talk about hours and hours of, hit and miss and trying to learn and everything. But I was, I started with tape. But I seen one time, and I couldn't tell you where, wire. We used to record on wire. And that was a machine that was like, there's no editing. It's just the wire went through. It was a wire.
Yeah.
But I seen that machine once. Never messed with it. I just seen it once somewhere in the archives. But yeah.
So tell me your very, very first radio job.
It was 12:20 a.m. up in Hamden, Connecticut. It was with Junior Achievement in high school. And we had a junior achievement show. And we did it on the air. And it was on a Sunday morning. It aired at the bright, shiny hour of 7:30, but we recorded in reality it's at I think it was 5 or 6 o'clock at night on a Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
And then it was rebroadcast on a Sunday at 7:30, and we sold. I mean, it was all the aspects of radio. In other words, just sitting in front of a mic going blah 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 blah. No, we actually sold stock to the company because it was publicly shared, what traded, traded. And after I think it lasted for like 6 months at the time. And in 6 months, we paid dividends to the shareholders. So, yeah. And we sold that much time. So, in other words, we sold enough time to pay the radio station for their time. Like people could buy block marketing here. We bought a half hour of block marketing on a Sunday morning. So the radio station got paid for a Wednesday evening for their time to record us.
Right.
And we made enough money to pay dividends to our shareholders. Now, none of us got paid we didn't get any money. We're just doing it to get the experience. And we sold, like I said, we sold stock, we made commercials, the whole 10 yards. Then when it ended, I stood on with that radio station. I went back there and I kept training more and more and more.
Huh. So, and what was the show? What was the idea?
J.A. Matinee.
But I mean, was it talking? Was it what we?
No, it was music. It was music.
Music, okay.
It was the association and all that. Middle of the road, they call it.
Okay, and how many on-air people did you have?
6.
Oh my gosh! How long was the show?
6.5 hours.
Oh wow!
It was a half-hour show, so 6.5 hours.
Oh, 6.5 hours.
And a half hour. So, in other words, basically gave everybody a shot to say, and coming up next on JA, whatever the hell it was called, is the association, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
It kind of ad-libbed it.
Would you play records?
Back then, everything was record.
Yeah,
everything was record. Everything was record. Oh, yeah.
No carts yet at that
Carts, the only thing carts were, there was commercials.
Commercials
were on 8 tracks, they call
them. So did you have a promo that ran through the week?
I don't remember. I would presume they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody and their cousin would listen to it.
That was 1968.
Yeah, 1968. And then 1969. Yeah, I think it was 1969, 1970. I did a very short stint on TV. And my claim to fame was it was just behind the scenes, just to use the equipment and everything. And one evening, the general manager came up to me. He says, "Well, how did you like being on TV?" And I said, "Well, it was cool because we watched it on the monitors, what we did. I sat behind there and did blah, 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 blah." He said, No, I mean, how did you like to be on TV? And what happened was, remember that show, My Girl? I think with Marlo Thomas.
Oh, that girl.
Oh, that girl
Yeah.
was playing on Thursday evenings. I think it was Tuesdays or Thursday, whatever it was. Well, that's the times that we went at night and taped and did our production practice. Well, I was all dressed up, in a nice tie and everything. I'm sitting behind the news desk and I'm blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, the man in the big control room thought it was a promo to come up for the news. And they had the commercials for Marlo Thomas, and then they took a break and did the local commercials, and they threw me in live over the air all over the state of Connecticut, wherever.
How cool is that?
Yeah, you'd be surprised that little 10-second blurb that he made a mistake with. How many people came up? Hey, I seen you the other day. It's amazing the power of a broadcast. Yeah, so
how cool is that?
It was something different. It was like, you mean I was on the air? Yeah. So I hope the guy in the booth never got fired or anything.
Did you ever use a different on-air name?
No,
always Joe Martone.
They wanted me to change it to Joe Edwards.
Joe Edwards.
Wow.
But I said, no, what's wrong with Martone? It's 2 syllables. It's fine. Martone, Edwards.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Hold on, you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on with Joe.
Yes, congratulations, Joe, on the Big 50.
Coming up. Yeah, I understand. Larry's keeping track of this stuff.
Robin.
Oh, Robin's keeping track and telling Larry to keep track of it. Okay, yeah.
Would you know when and where talk radio got its start? When I go way back and listen to music popular or whatever, but when did talk radio get its start, and where did it get its start?
KP's blah, 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 blah. Oh, if I had gotten, if you had asked me this off the air, I would have had the answer for you. No problem. But it was with a KP something or another, way back when. I can't remember the state. But it wasn't talk radio, I don't think. It was music. It was music at that time.
Well, it really caught on because that basically, I would say probably 75% of radio is talk.
Now. Yes, definitely. We've gotten more intelligent in our old age.
Well, again, thank you very much for 50 years, and hope you have another 50.
Oh, I love this man. All right. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good question. A commercial radio station. No, there was radio stations before that, but commercial.
So Ocala's first radio station had a piano player on the staff. Did you ever work at a radio station that had no recorded music, just a live musician?
Not in the United States. No, I was in the Philippines, and they did it, and they had a little band in there that they did their shtick, and the Filipino in what was the name of that? Subic Bay. I think it was Subic Bay or Manila. I forget where it was.
Oh my gosh.
They did their own, and they had their own band in there. And they played it.
Tell us the story. You shared this with us one time about Bob Crane.
Bob Crane was with WICC in Bridgeport, Connecticut, years and years and years ago, before it became famous in Hollywood. And he would talk about his chicken and how someone had stole his idea for a chicken. And he would and the air go, and something about an egg or something he joked about. And then somebody was, like a Milton Berle kind of thing, stealing a joke kind of
Really?
thing. I don't know if he's half serious or but he was bigger than life. You see him, Hollywood kind of thing. But he came that year to visit his old stomping grounds in Connecticut because he was from Connecticut.
Oh, so he was already a celebrity.
He was with Hogan's Heroes and everything by the time because it was 1974, 75. So I forget when Hogan's Heroes came up, but
and he was the neighbor on the Donna Reed show.
He was the neighbor.
The neighbor that would come over every once in a while.
Right, and Disney was grooming him to be another Disney Hollywood guy. I think he only made one Disney Super Dad or something was called, the Disney movie.
Oh,
but then of course we all know he got killed.
So let me go back to the first show you did. Did you listen to yourself? Because since it was pre-recorded, did you find a radio and sit in the car?
Of course, yeah, at the house, 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning. Yeah. Oh, that was me, kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice.
You don't have those tapes anymore, do you?
Thank goodness, I don't think I do.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, it's
embarrassing.
No, not embarrassing. Just it's the way it would sound. Who knows? I might have been putting the voice on back then. Welcome to who knows? I don't remember. I really don't remember. Like Armed Forces Radio and Television, they told me to calm down because I sounded more like a person that would be African American rather than who I am, because I was putting on that voice, more like Soul Train. Hey, how you doing? And then talk like you said. They said I did that like twice, and then they said, okay, now we need you to talk like you. And I said, what do you mean? I said, because I was doing it like the radio guys were doing it back then. In the, this is, remember, it's 1970, and they were still 60s and 70s. They were still doing that disco sound kind of DJ stuff.
Right.
But he said, no, we want you, so I became, like you see Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam kind of thing, where I actually talked to the men and interacted with the 5,000 men on the aircraft carrier. And how many people?
So were you assigned the radio on the ship because of your work prior, like in high school, because of the radio work you did?
Yes, I applied for it. What they call the MOS. What you did for the Navy was I was a cook. That was my job. So I did that for 12 hours a day. And then after that, for 4 hours a day, I went on the radio.
Was it fun?
Wow.
That was my relief valve, so I didn't go nuts. And I just went nuts on the radio instead.
Yeah.
And they had the three radio stations and a TV station up there. It was middle of the road, elevator music, country western, and then rock and roll. And I did rock and roll and country western, and then I did the voice on the elevator music. Because then it was, thank you for listening to kind of
nice.
kind of voice, because, and that was all, the elevator music was all pre-recorded. It was all, the music would play, then it would kick, and then the announcement.
Mhm.
Thank you for listening. We know, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the PSAs. We used to get a lot of PSAs that we would say,
Right.
remember, when you're going on shore, listen to the men and look for the men with the pips on their shoulder.
The pips.
The pip. I forget what is Hong Kong or something, but they're the ones if they had red pips on their shoulder, they understand English and they can help you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how
PSAs
cool.
like that, or when you go on, don't what was it? Don't just ask for a tailor. Ask for the specific tailor that we provide the name with. Those are reputable, kind of things, And a bunch of us guys got in a taxi and it was in Hong Kong. We were going to get our suits made, and we showed the taxi driver the name. He said, "Okay," dropped us off, and it was the wrong name, and we had to find our way back to the ship. And sure enough, it was like a block and a half away from the ship, but he was trying to steer us to somebody else that we didn't know from Adam.
Wow,
gee.
cool.
Reputable.
Wow.
How many seconds, Larry?
Well, we have about 40 right now.
Oh, 40. That's perfect. Almost look at the clock now. That's good. But that was, some of the things that you work with, over the years. And it's like, once it bites you, it bites you.
I do love radio. I do love radio.
I would have never guessed. Everybody, thank you for listening to us. It's a privilege for us to be here for you. Remember, this is AM Ocala Live with Larry and Robin every day, Monday through Friday. We're here for your entertainment and your information. We do appreciate you all. Remember, this is WOCA Ocala.
Midday with Joe.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The jury in the Paul Manafort bank fraud and tax evasion trial deliberating for a third day.